Scott Brown here. Welcome to another exciting episode. You live in Nelson. Show us some highlights and why it'd be a great place to visit. Well, I'm glad you said that, Mr. Terabyte, because that's exactly what we're doing in this episode. And we're starting off here at a place called Garden House Kinner. Jess and I visit this place all the time, and you'll see why in a moment. But let's show exactly where we're going in this episode. So this is New Zealand. We're at the top of the South Island of New Zealand. Well, on this journey, we're starting at Garden House Kinner, and we're making our way across Golden Bay all the way to the west coast, at a magical little place called Whaririki. And we're answering your questions along the way. I took my tool belt off. I didn't want to draw any attention to myself. Okay, this place is our friend Paul and Karen's, and it's called Garden House Kinner, and it's like a little farm shop where they sell like coffees and stuff like that. They have this amazing garden. They're always doing cool projects, and we come here regularly to get inspired. All right, let's put this in the garden.
Has a double barrel question. As a builder and a videographer, how much of your workday is building and how much is the video?
The first half of the week is usually building, and it will be 2 to 3 days, and then the second half of the week is usually editing, and that takes me 1 day usually, hopefully, but it often takes 2 days as well.
Can I add to that?
Of course.
Everything he said times it by 3.
You said it was a double barrel question. Should we go to the second one?
Oh no, it's ruining the magic! As personality on the internet, do people recognise you in public?
Yes, and it happens more often in Nelson than it did in Auckland. It happened in Auckland, maybe because it's a small town. There's more people that maybe talk about the channel to others because it's based in Nelson, and it kind of puts Nelson in the public. Yeah, is the short answer. What about you, Jess? Do you get inspired by Karen's beautiful garden?
So inspired. This is the garden of my dreams.
Where did Jess get her green thumb from? She obviously enjoys it. Do you think the move down here made it happen?
Sure, it was because we bought a house that had an absolute mess of a garden. I think the words I said were, I'm going to have to learn how to garden to make this not look awful. I never anticipated I'd love it so much. The only insight I have to it is that I just tried something and then it turns out that I absolutely loved it. So then there's probably a lesson in there, eh? Like,
yeah, totally.
Just try things because you have no idea what's going to capture your passion.
And there was another part of that question which we'll probably get to soon because we actually got asked a lot. What is next after our house? But we'll get to that soon. Here's one for you, Jess. Will the bathroom be done by episode 1000?
That's one for you. Please don't put that into the universe. Of course it will be. No, it's going to be done. It's going to be done the next few months. Thank you very much.
It is taking a long time, to be fair.
Yeah, everything takes a long time. I mean, okay, as an example, this place we're at. This place is called Garden House in Kinner. And we always joke, in the time it takes us to pick a tile, these guys have built a new berry shop and a sauna.
Yeah, they're always doing projects. So Paul, he builds a lot of stuff around here, and they've always got a project on, always. And Karen has built this amazing garden, and I mean, look at it. I don't know how they find the time. And while they're doing all those projects,
they're running multiple businesses.
They're selling ice cream. They've got a cafe. This coffee I just had was made by them.
Every time I've left here, I feel like so much more is possible. There's so much more to do. It's exciting. You know, we can do it.
Now we're going beyond towards the Takaka Hill. This hill divides the area where we live from the area where we're going in this episode, Golden Bay. I think this is the hardest journey this van's ever had to take. This hill was hard for a regular car, but this van, somebody asked, when am I going to change the workhorse? Meaning the van. The van's 20 years old, which means technically it's a classic, by the way. I've got a classic vehicle now. It's low on the priority list. So the answer is, I don't know. Maybe when it finally dies, and that could be on this trip, who knows? Okay, so this is on top of Takaka Hill. And down there you can see the Abel Tasman. And over there is where we live, in that area there. So we've made our way up, and now on the other side of this, it's Golden Bay. Alright, it's the following morning, and we're in Golden Bay officially, and we're quite far west in Golden Bay.
So dreamy.
It is, isn't it?
God, what kind of trees are these? As a perfectionist, which project are you least satisfied that you've completed on your home so far? Also, show us why.
Okay, I'll have to show some overlay footage here because we're not at home obviously, but the French doors. I double glazed the French doors, and in order to do that I got some second-hand ones, and I cut out like the main, not the main, but I cut out part of the structural support, and now the door is kind of suffering. It was never designed to handle double glazing. You know, it just had single pane glass in there, and it's cracked, it's separated, there's an open gap in the middle of the door where you can see daylight, and it annoys me every day because I make coffee in the morning and I look at it.
Yeah, and like, it's not that bad, first of all.
It's terrible.
I don't think it's that bad, but every meal he's just like staring at it. I'm like, oh my God, let it go.
Makes me want to sell the house. So where we're staying in Golden Bay, this area, we come here quite a lot. It's our favourite place when we want to just, you know, have a wee break, escape work and relax. Look at this beach access here.
Mark na Kim. Weird question, but why and when did you start wearing button-up shirts for working, and what material are they made of? I've always admired how professional and put together you look while working, which is exactly what the trades need. The way we present to clients becomes our brand and their expectations. I'm ad-libbing a little bit here, but essentially that's the question.
Linen. It's a linen shirt. All my shirts are linen. I've got probably a dozen at this point, and that's because they breathe. They breathe and they wick moisture, so they're very, very comfortable both in the heat, and they protect my arms and stuff from the sun.
As for where we find them, we just Google linen shirts. There's no no shop.
They're from different places.
Yeah. Oh, also, the colour.
Oh yeah.
The colour's actually like kind of funny.
I've got about five of these blue ones.
So my best mate Steph, she got really into that whole colour analysis thing on Instagram, and she was watching our videos, and she messaged me and said, Scotty looks great in those bright blue colours. I think he's a dark winter. We're like, what? So we went shopping and we found all these like bright shirts which looked terrible on the shelf, and then we put them on him and we were like, oh my God, Steph's right.
I'm a dark winter.
Scott's a dark winter. Get your colours done.
Yeah, get your colour analysis
Steph should
done.
take clients.
I know, right? Does Jess do all the editing? Would love to hear about your process. Thanks.
No, none of it.
You don't do it.
No, the filming, the editing, that's all Scott.
Yeah. What do you do, Jessie, if you don't edit?
Comic relief mostly. No. We've talked about this in a previous Q&A. Someone said I was like a producer, which turns out means like I organise stuff. So I organise the sponsorships, and I'll cold call companies and ask them to sponsor us, which I still find really challenging. I guess if Scott has an idea, I'm the person who goes, okay, but how do we actually make it happen? Also, like the brainstorming. So if we go, okay, well, what are we going to make a video about this week or for the next month? We'll come up with ideas. A couple of years ago, we did an internal pocket door video, and I remember we were saying, my God, but how boring, like you've installed pocket doors before, how do we make this interesting? And then I had the idea, oh, well, what about the fact that I always tease you about that you're scared of pocket doors because you never want to do them? And then I came up with a storyline, and so we sort of storyboarded that together. It was very collaborative, but that's a big part of what I do.
Totally. And Jess is the first viewer of every episode, so she's like, oh, I don't know, that's not good, or oh yeah, good episode, but I would change that.
I wasn't kidding. I do feel like comic relief is part of my, like, was the video funny enough?
Yeah.
Am I laughing? You always say on the first watch, if I laugh, you're like, yeah, good.
Totally. I'm watching, when we first watched the episode, I'm watching Jess. I'm not watching the episode. I'm like, see her reaction. Dylan P.
Livelich 6779 says, what's your favourite thing about living in New Zealand?
My favourite thing, this is my favourite thing. Look at this beach. It's beautiful, the water's so calm, and we're the only ones on it. And this is like not abnormal. It's not just because we live in a small town. All across the country you can find beaches like this where hardly anybody is, and you can often have them to yourself. What about you, Jess? Same question for you.
Oh, exactly the same thing.
And part of the reason it is so nice is because everyone knows to not leave this stuff around. You know, we pick up rubbish and we don't leave giant episode 500 signs behind at the beach. So now, onwards, we continue in this journey to Wharariki. Look at all the swans! Oh my God! It's crazy.
They're all down the coast. There's like hundreds of them.
Look at all these swans. They go around that bay there as well.
Well, we're not going to be able to swim here. Swans are notorious assholes. They're mean. You know, a black swan event is supposed to mean like a rare event, but all the swans in New Zealand are black. Like, it's rare to see a white swan. Maybe we are in like a parallel, upside down universe.
Even more swans. This peacock's always here at the Whaririki car park. I don't know why. It's always hanging around.
It lives here.
Yeah. We just drove the gravel road for about 20 k's, and that takes you all the way to the west coast, which is where this Whaririki beach is. And it's so exposed here, it's so windy. You drive through all this farmland, then you're in this like otherworldly beach. The beach looks the way it does because of how windy it is here and how exposed it is to the ocean. It looks quite special, I think.
I might not be able to answer any questions, it might be too windy.
Yeah. Why did the peacock cross the road? To go to that cafe, apparently. Alright, we found a spot behind a tree with no wind.
Favourite pie shop in New Zealand?
The Ellerslie one, the one on the main road at Ellerslie.
Really?
I think that's mainly because of nostalgia though, because I think about working in Auckland and working with Pato and everything.
Ah, for me it's the Fairlie Bakehouse in Fairlie. Those pies.
I forgot about them.
They believe the hype, they're very good.
Where did Jess get her gardening outfit?
Flouncy Garden Wear Nelson. You can just Google that. What is your favourite tool that was handed down from a family member or friend that you use frequently?
I would say the jigsaw my dad gave me. Although I don't know if he knows that he gave it to me or whether I just borrowed it and never gave it back.
That's called stealing. Look at that Hebe!
Oh mate, it's floriferous.
Wow. Oh, it stinks!
This is Whaririki. We tried to find some shelter from the wind because it's such a crazy windy place. It's like another planet.
Whoa, it's so windy!
Gee, so it obviously opens to the sea down that cave.
Yeah, I don't think we should go down.
Let's not find out, eh?
It's not even on the news.
Yeah.
So cool. TJ3846 asks, do you miss life in Auckland and how does smaller city life compare?
Okay, the things I get down about is a lot of things close by 2 p.m. It's hard to get things as well to Nelson. There's only 1 million people in the South Island and the majority of Kiwis are in the North Island. So anytime you need to order materials that are out of the ordinary, it's a mission. We are in a small town, so if we want to do anything different, we have to travel quite far. Having said that, we still feel like we haven't explored this whole area. We've been here a couple of times, but there's parts of this top of the South where we haven't even visited before. So I do feel like there's heaps more to see still. It's still fresh, still new.
Our least favourite things, everything's closed by 2 p.m. and closed on the weekends. And it sounds silly, but it's really hard to have a party. We went to a DJ set at a winery a couple of weekends ago and the whole thing was over by 8:30. The sun hadn't even set.
Yeah.
Like just as it was starting to get good, it's like, okay, bedtime. I was with my friend, she sort of looked around and she goes, I got a babysitter for this. So that gets me down. However, upside, where everyone's really friendly, everyone's got time for a yarn, access to nature is super easy. I actually feel like there's more opportunities in a way for us here because there's less barriers between. For example, if there's a cool person doing a cool thing in Auckland, maybe you're like 3 relationships removed from them. Here, you're probably just one and the chance of meeting them is actually quite high. There's a real community spirit. The food is really good down here. We're healthier, we're outdoors more.
Yeah.
It's more chill, it's quiet.
You have more time to encounter your friends. Like we pop into each other's...
way more social.
We pop into each other's houses without texting, you know, like it's the 90s or something.
In Auckland, we never saw anyone because everyone lived 45 minutes away and you had to book each other months out. So the question was, do we miss Auckland? I don't. I just really miss my family.
Yeah, family and friends.
And actually, I miss the warmth. It's quite cold down here and the summers can be quite short.
Where did we meet? We met at a party in West Auckland.
But we didn't get together until we were both traveling in Europe.
Oh my gosh. Good to be out of the wind. We just met a Korean couple who were traveling here, and they said, oh, did you get the photo? And we're like, what photo? The Windows background photo. And they showed us a picture of a famous Windows background that was taken, the photo was taken here in Whaririki Beach. We've been here like half a dozen times and we didn't even know that was a thing.
They're like, we traveled 7 hours. And I was like, oh yeah, we just live here.
We had no idea.
Nicely done, Scott.
Wow, the tree caught it for me. Nicely done. Bucket Bakery. I highly recommend this place. This is a place we always come to when we come to Golden Bay.
Oh yeah. Luke Gordon Harris asks, would love to have an update on how the finances are going. Is the income from YouTube and sponsors consistent? And how do you manage your freelance work versus video creation, etc.? You both seemed so balanced. That was very nice.
That is nice. We live off the YouTube revenue. And the YouTube revenue is divided as sponsors and YouTube ad revenue. Every time we watch a video, an ad pops up, we get a portion of that revenue. That part goes up and down because it's dependent on views and who's watching and a whole bunch of other things that Google knows and we don't. Sponsors is a bit more consistent, but with the two we make a living and we don't have to get jobs outside of YouTube, which is fantastic.
Can you live comfortably on a YouTube salary, or do you have to take on paid carpentry gigs to survive and thrive? The answer is currently yes, we are living comfortably on a YouTube salary.
Yeah, we have been since we moved to Nelson.
How much does it actually bother you how long the renovations are taking?
It does bother me because I live in the house and I'm constantly looking at the unfinished jobs. But also I'm enjoying taking my time with it and being able to film it the way I want to film it. And also I think we've done things differently because we've taken more time on the house. You know, this bathroom, for instance, I think we would have done it completely different if we'd done it first.
Not really bothering me at all. Well, no, apart from a few ups and downs, just when I've been in a bad mood or there's just an absolute mess everywhere, it's been fine. I know that it doesn't really bother me because if it wasn't for the renovation and the YouTube channel, we wouldn't currently have the lifestyle that we have, which is that I get to work with my favourite person in the world and we get to decide how we spend our days. And my uncle, who's self-employed, he always says, you know, when you're self-employed, what was it? You'll work 80 hours a week, but you'll get to choose which 80 hours. Which is a very cynical take, but actually the being able to choose how I work is really great and I really love it, and I don't want to go back to working in an office. So if the cost of that is a slow renovation, then I'll take it. Hey mate, love the channel. What do you prefer more, the YouTube video production or the carpentry?
Yeah, I remember seeing this question. Carpentry. I think it's carpentry.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, here we go. If you had to give up one, what would you give up? The YouTube channel or carpentry?
So like I could never build again?
Yeah, you're not allowed to do one. Yeah, you can never build again, or you can't do the YouTube channel ever again. What one are you giving up?
The YouTube channel.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
I love doing YouTube, and it's not a sign that I want to quit or anything like that, or I'm sick of it. I love it. But yeah, to have to give up carpentry forever, never get to build another thing again.
Oh, a few people have asked me when am I going to start my gardening YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
If someone else can do the filming and the editing and the planning,
yeah.
I don't want to spend my free time in front of a laptop editing videos. I want to spend my free time in the garden.
Since we moved down to Nelson, our channel and therefore our work has become all-encompassing because it's our house, right? And I think the garden's a bit of an escape from that.
Totally, I love it. It's I get stressed out, but oh, this is so beautiful. I love my gardening, and I can imagine, you know, if you're watching it as a gardening channel, that's all you're seeing. What you don't see with the YouTube channel is just the sheer amount of time, hours sat in front of the laptop all hunched over. I don't want that. That's not really where my passion is.
Yeah.
I just want a garden. The bubbling effect, that's just the water. This is the spring. I think they say it's the cleanest water in New Zealand.
Yeah, come on. So that's just pure water bubbling up from the earth. And those rivers that we're walking past on the way here, that's just the overflow. It's flowing into the town. And then some of the shops here in town actually draw from this water source, you know, via the streams and everything. Best water in the world.
Would you ever want to self-build a new house from scratch?
Yes, I would love to do that. Especially now that I've been renovating for years, renovating clients' houses, now our house. It would be good to have a break from renovating in our next project, whatever that may be.
Another question was, do we regret buying the house that we bought?
No.
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 We wouldn't be where we are now if we hadn't bought that house. When are you going to get a domino?
Depends on the project. It's always project dependent. That's like, I joke about it. I joke about getting a domino and always wanting a domino, or Jess's resistance to me getting a domino. All jokes aside, I usually buy tools based on the project that I need them for, and I currently don't need a domino for anything.
Yeah, I'm not against them getting a domino. You just need to have a project. And also right now, that money would be better spent on a trip to Japan. Sam Fessler asks, what is the seemingly simplest upgrade or improvement you've done to your house that you'd never go back from and that you would recommend everyone does in their house?
Why don't you answer that first?
Make it warm and paint it. Make it warm is probably quite New Zealand specific because the old ones are so cold. So if you live in a country where houses are just already warm, painting it's so nice to have like fun colours and personality in your home. Don't just design it for the next theoretical owner. Alright, here, this is just for you, Scott. What's your favourite trick on a skateboard? Mine is a 360 flip.
Well, that's probably my favourite as well. Although I can't really do them. K-grind. I can do a crooked grind. I like them.
I don't know what any of this means.
Or a backside nose grind. Okay, I would love for you guys to bring back your merchandise. I've got the Smoko Time hoodie and I would love to add more to it. We don't have merchandise at the moment. We haven't had for a little while, have we?
Yeah, we had merchandise for a while, but it's really hard organising that from down here. If we produced it in New Zealand, the cost of shipping it to, say, the States would probably be more than the actual t-shirt. Yeah. Who we were doing it with, it just got to a point where we had no control over it. We didn't know where it was being made. We couldn't physically touch it. And then there were supply issues and the prices kept going up and it just didn't make sense. I think one day we would like to do something like merch. We just don't know what makes sense with the restrictions we have, which is we're all the way down the bottom of the world and manufacturing's expensive.
Yeah.
So something will come up. Hey, maybe linen shirts. What's your favourite colour?
Green.
Green or pink? Who does the music, or where do you find the music for your videos?
I get most of my music from Epidemic Sound. That's my most common. It's not a sponsor, although that would be great.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. But I also get it from individual artists like David Cutter Music and Gertie Beats. Those are my two most common, so shout out to those guys. They make awesome music.
What did you decide to do with the deck? Oil or leave it as it is?
Leave it as it is. One less job. Has the situation improved for Jess getting more free stuff? And congrats on the milestone. Thank you.
I got given some free woolen socks from a company called Wild, W-Y-L-D, and I'm not being funny, but they are the best woolen socks I have ever owned. All the others have fallen apart. So honestly, I'm quite happy with that. Oh, I'd love to be sponsored by a woolen jumper company. Oh. Will you knock down and rebuild your garage when the house is finished? Maybe.
That's would love to do it, but don't want to spend the money on it project because it'd be a big chunk of money. I'd want to do like a new build thing, so I'd have to spend all the money at once. Someone else asked about whether our property was subdividable or not, And I think technically it is, but would have to cause a lot of disruption to our existing house to make the driveway wider. So it'd be better if we built some sort of minor dwelling at the back, maybe like a 2-bedroom unit or something.
Do you regret working with any sponsors?
No, they've all been very good. We've been quite selective with who we work with, and so far we've chosen well.
We get emails about sponsorships every single day. I would say we've worked with less than 5% of what we're offered. We've managed to get a few sponsors of materials for the bathroom, which is really cool. Stay tuned for that. And then obviously our longest standing sponsor, Squarespace, have been amazing. So thankful to them.
Yeah.
They also are the sponsor of today's video.
Squarespace is an all-in-one platform where you can build your online presence and run your business. If you need a website, Squarespace is a great place to start. And they have free trials, so you've got nothing to lose. They have portfolios and galleries to showcase your work. They have thousands of templates to choose from. So you can pick a template that matches your business and the service and the thing that you want to sell. If it's a product. If it's a service, you can advertise your company through your website, and you can also invoice your clients from your website. And if it's a product, they have all the major payment services, and they have e-commerce functionality built into the website. They try to make everything easy. It's all in-house. You don't have to go elsewhere to make your website function. One thing that I really appreciate about Squarespace is its drag and drop functionality. You don't really need to know how to code. All you do is drag in your images and your text, and Squarespace kind of does the rest. And they offer custom domain names as well as domain transfer if you already have your own custom domain. But hey, you don't need to take my word for it. They also have a free trial so you can have a go without losing anything. But make sure once you're ready to launch your own website, head over to squarespace.com/Scott Brown Carpentry, and that way you'll get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Sponsorships like Squarespace has allowed us to get to 500 episodes, so thank you very much. Appreciate it. And thank you for watching these episodes. We're still going though, we've got more questions to answer. Are you going to be okay carrying this?
Soon find
Do you
out.
want to carry the camera instead?
I got it.
You look really comfortable.
Shut up.
I just want to say that this was Jess's idea. Let's carry the 500 up the memorial lookout, she said. Now look at her. You done a good job. You did it.
And what are they of, the YouTube videos?
Well, Scott's a builder, so it's about building.
What's it called?
Scott Brown Carpentry, so that's Scott Brown.
Oh, cool.
So Whaririki was way out there, and this whole bay is Golden Bay, and we come right back round to the Abu Tasman, and then the hill that we have to cross to go home is up over there. Scott and Jess, loving your work. Your start to last year with Japan and then the mountain hut was mega. Have you got more carpentry adventures planned? Absolutely, we have more planned. We're going to Japan this year, we're going to Scotland this year, we're going to make videos in both places. We're really excited about it. And yeah, the mountain hut and the skate park, those are a good example of the kind of things that we want to do in the future. So if there's any more ideas out there, any more opportunities, we'll be keen for it, won't we?
Someone else asked if we'd ever go to the US, and honestly, we would just love to mix travel with carpentry.
Whatever makes a great video is how we think of it. Hi Scott, what advice would you give to a chippy thinking about going solo after only working as an employee in the past? Thanks mate. Carpentry skills are very different to business skills, so go into it knowing that. If you have a mentor or someone who's really good at running a business, get all the information you can from them. What would you say?
Get to know your taxes.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's
Yes.
so boring. If you're in New Zealand, that second year when you become a provisional taxpayer, it's pretty brutal if you're not prepared. So just make sure you understand it and you're ready for it, and then you'll be fine. My question is, out of all the friends you've met in this trade, who are the ones who have made the most impact? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
My dad, because he got me into the trade in the first place, and I've always had, whenever I've had questions about carpentry, I've talked to him. And my Uncle Sandy as well, because when I went to Scotland, that's my dad's brother, when I went to Scotland, he showed me how building in Scotland worked and how it was. And I lived with him and learned a lot.
And then where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully with me.
100% with you. As for everything else, I don't know. Obviously building something somewhere, and hopefully we're still making exciting episodes. Who knows, maybe I'll be up to episode 1000 by then. And our bathroom might be finished.
I just hope we keep This sounds so corny. I just hope we keep living our best life.
Oh my God.
No,
I know what you mean. Like,
don't remember that. That's embarrassing. Like, this is a good life. Like,
Yeah.
I know we've talked about the challenges of renovating and having a YouTube channel, and there are challenges, but overall, I am so grateful for our life.
and I think in this episode we try to show what our life is like outside of the regular videos, right? Like when we're not recording, we're usually doing things like this.
And why we're happy and why we're grateful. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know about you, but I get to spend most of my time with my absolute favourite person in the world.
Absolutely.
Being creative, spending heaps of time outdoors. It's pretty sweet, man.
Meeting cool people.
Yeah, I feel very grateful.
The last time we made an episode like this was episode 400, and our friend Nikita was in Japan, and we mentioned Japan, and she watched it and reached out to us, and that's how we ended up having all those adventures over there, and we're going back there this year as well to do it again. So who knows where this episode will lead. If you're watching and you've got a great project, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And if you see us on the street, walking around, come say hi. We always like to say hi to the people that watch our videos.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Hope you stick around.
See you in episode 501. Is it like a hawk?
No, it's just a brown seagull. It looks like it's going to poo on us though.